Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kayla. Today's video, we are going to do my version of Jokes on Me. So, if you don't know what Jokes on Me is, it is Bailey over at Is Bailey Reading, my best friend ever. It is her TBR challenge, TBR game kind of thing, where she has this board, she does some card flips, she does what it's supposed to do for the numbers, and then she picks books based on her owned bookshelf. This is something where she does it to get her owned books down. She reads them. You know the situation. So, I'm going to try it and it's going to be fun. I'm doing it based on my want to read on Goodreads because I don't particularly own every book I want to read, and also I just want to get that list down and read books that I say I'm going to read. So, now we're going to get into my flips and kind of start the vlog, but I think it's going to be pretty fun. And I think that I want to do a full round. We'll see. I don't know what's going to happen. So here's my card flips and let's get into it. So here's the board. It looks great. It's beautiful. I don't actually have any playing cards, so I'm going to have to use a website, the random playing card shuffler. But we're going to start at the bottom right corner where it says mood read. We're going to work our way around. I'm nervous. Okay, so let's get into our first roll or flip. First flip. A 9. So a 9. Don't see any rules. That means I just move 9 spaces. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. First on YouTube. So I need to go find the first book I see on YouTube. That's gonna be silly. Okay. Okay, flip number 2 is a 4, which it's moved backwards 4. So we were first on YouTube. 1, 2, 3, 4. Longest on shelf. So I need to find the longest book. I'm gonna use the longest book on my Goodreads want to read shelf, which that might bite me in the butt later. So longest on shelf. And then our third and final flip for this round is a queen. So a queen is buy a book. So I'm going to buy a book. And I didn't move very far at all. And that's okay. Okay, so first we got first on YouTube. And then we got longest on shelf. I'm going to insert it here. But on Goodreads, I opened it, sorted it based on date added, did it where longest are first, oldest are first. And if you see there's 4 or 5 options that I'm going to choose from, I went to choose from them, and basically they're all massive. They're all massive, or there's 2 really sad ones. So I didn't want to read something absolutely massive right now. So I was looking at the other 2, and I really just decided to go with the bell jar because it is the longest. It has been on my TBR the longest. And I just need to read it. So I'm going to read The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath for that. I don't really know anything about it other than that it's supposed to be sad girl. Unsure. So that's that on that. Okay. And then for my choice, you'll just see. You'll see what I picked. I'm going to pick my choice. It'll be great. The last thing, though, that I want to say before we get into it, I did get a queen. I did buy a book. I did buy a book already. So I'm going to show it to you. Okay. Okay, so I did buy my book, and I ended up going with In Every Mirror She's Black by Lola Akinmade Ackerstrom. I feel so bad if I said her name wrong. I'm so sorry. So, In Every Mirror She's Black, I went to this little cafe bookstore with my brother, and they have obviously have books, and then you can buy coffee. And it just opened, so we both wanted to support that bookstore. This is what I chose. He chose A Cozy Mystery. That's cool. This really got me. First, it got me because I just really love the cover. I think the cover is absolutely beautiful. But the next thing that got me was that Taylor Jenkins Reid blurbs the back, which we love her. If you've seen any of my other videos, anytime I mention Taylor Jenkins Reid, I kind of pop off with her. So the tagline basically says, an arresting debut about three very different Black women linked to the same influential white man as they build new lives in Stockholm. So I believe one of the women is a marketing executive that works with him. The other is somebody he meets who is like a model turned flight attendant. And the other one is a refugee who like cleans his house. So it's told through those three different perspectives, and it says is a fast-paced, richly nuanced contemporary social novel that explores the deepest depths of what it means to be a Black woman navigating a white-dominated society. So I'm pretty excited for this one. I'm not reading it in this vlog, but you will see it eventually. Okay, now that you know that I own this now. So those are my roles. That's my book I bought. Let's get into the video, my guys. Let's do it. We're here to do my first on YouTube portion of the video. We're going to find the book, figure out what we're going to be reading for this portion of the video. And how I'm going to do this is I'm going to screen record my YouTube on my iPad. And for me, I subscribe to so many different things that I can't just go through my subscription because then we'll probably be here for a hot minute before like a book video probably shows up. In my like home screen of YouTube, it gives me like example things, and I found that the word novel always shows up. It used to be reading, and now that doesn't show up anymore, so now it's novel. So I'm going to click on that, and then we're going to scroll from there. My parameters are it has to be a book I really want to read, or it's already on my Goodreads TBR. If it is not on those things, I'm going to go to the next one. And I'm going to look at it from the thumbnail. It has to be in the thumbnail. Okay, so here we are. The things on here are really funny, actually. So we're gonna click novel. We're gonna start going through. I'm not looking at that fantasy one. I'm not doing it. Okay. So Sid doesn't have anything. Jan has nothing that I want to read. I've already read Golden Sun. Ooh, I think we got one, my guys. My eyes went straight to Chandler. And Chandler, on this one, it says reading thrillers until I get too scared. I actually have this video saved in my like booktube watch eventually playlist that I need to get to. But she has Falling, Middle of the Night by Riley Sager, and then The Teacher by Frida McFadden. I think I'm gonna go with The Teacher by Frida McFadden because I actually own it. And that's easy for me to read. So I'm gonna read The Teacher by Frida McFadden. Thanks, Chandler. I've gotten really into Chandler lately. I've been watching her videos like all the time. Like I was doing dishes earlier, watching her like most recent vlog about her DIY stuff. I love Chandler now. So I could have pulled myself together a little bit more. I chose not to. I don't care. I made it to the 50% mark of The Duke and I by Julia Quinn, and I'm here to talk about it. So in this book, we follow Simon and Daphne. Simon is a duke, and Daphne is the oldest Bridgerton sister. And basically, Regency London, historical romance. Y'all know what the Bridgerton group is about. Like, there's nothing new. Y'all been watching it. Y'all been reading it. I haven't. And here I am. So we follow Simon and Daphne, and Simon is an only child. He went away for a couple years and came back, and now he's the Duke, and he is just trying to figure his life out, I guess. And then Daphne is trying to find a husband. Miss Mommy Bridgerton is taking them all to balls and stuff, and Daphne can just not find somebody to wife her up. And this book, everyone likes Daphne, but no one really ever falls in love with her, I guess. She just can't find a husband. So this follows the relationship between Simon and Daphne, and Simon has this thing where he's not going to get married, and Daphne is like, hey, you could like pretend to date me and I could probably get a husband, and then we'll have a good time. And I made it halfway, and I don't know. I don't know, because the beginning I was like, oh, this is cute, this is fun, and then at a certain point I was like, I gotta read. I gotta read this. And within the last maybe 20 or 30 pages, we're shifting from like Simon's coming around a lot more. He's hanging out with the Bridgertons. People are talking about them together. Daphne's getting all of these like dates or like dances at like the balls. Her dance card is being filled. And you're slowly seeing them like fall in love with each other. Perfect. But then Anthony has got to put his big head in the way. And Anthony is the oldest Bridgerton brother. The next book is Anthony's book. And I texted Bailey earlier and was like, Simon and Daphne, I know this is them, but Anthony's my sweetie. I love Anthony. I cannot wait for Anthony's book. Something about this angry man. I love him. So, yeah. The last, like 20 or 30 pages, they've really started liking each other more. They're really like kind of falling in love with each other. And obviously in like this time period, you can't just make out in the garden and everything be fine. If you get caught making out in the garden, somebody's going to throw a punch, and then all of London is going to talk about you, and you've got to get married. So that's kind of where we're at. Anthony's putting his big foot in places he needs to step away from, and we're just kind of figuring out what Simon and Daphne are going to do. Daphne doesn't really know why Simon doesn't want to get married. Daphne's like, hey, yo, I like you. Why don't you just marry me? And he said, no way, Jose. I'd rather die. And that's so sad. Julia Quinn is popping the heck off with this like tension, because I'm foaming at the mouth. I'm straight up foaming at the mouth, feral as feral could be, over these two people. And if this is how I feel when I'm like meh about Simon, oh, I can't wait for the angst for Anthony. I'm so hyped for Anthony's book, can you tell? So yeah, I made it halfway. I'm gonna keep reading. I probably won't finish this tonight, but I want to. The parasites in me want to finish this book tonight. The demon in me wants to finish this book tonight. So I'm gonna get back to reading. I don't feel particularly good. Like, I don't feel sick. I just don't feel good. Like, I want to go to sleep. But I want to read. But I want to just lay and stare at the wall. Okay, my guys, it is straight up raining outside. And you would think that I would have done this any part of the day that it was not raining actively. But I have to do it right now. And if I don't film this clip right now, I'm not going to film it for the rest of the day. So if you can hear the rain, good for you. If you can't, even better. First thing is I finished The Duke and I by Julia Quinn. I can never remember who wrote this. I know it starts with a J and a Q. I never remember. Um, but I finished The Duke and I. I finished it a couple hours ago, and I just sit on my thoughts. I was like 57 or 58% last night. Read a bunch and like fell asleep reading. Didn't sleep very much last night. Woke up at like 4 a.m. and was like, well, I can't go back to sleep. I might as well read. So then I read, and then I read and read and read. And I did other things. Like, I would stop after a while and go do a chore or two. And I ate and I lived a life. But then I came back and I said, I'm coming back, Simon. And we got to the part, it like everything was fine and dandy. He like gave her misinformation. It's the 1800s, so she didn't know anything about sex, and it was just sounds about right. Let's be honest, sounds about right. But it got to the part that is Charlie's like asleep on my bed. It got to the part where like we're really controversial about this book. And yes, it was uncomfortable. Yes, I understand why people have issues with it. Yes, I understand why people take off stars because of it. And yes, it's bad. Okay? But I glossed over it because it's a book. So I can identify that as bad, but I also just kept moving. Do not touch people inappropriately when they're intoxicated. If they cannot give their full consent sober, do not touch them. That's all I have to say on that. So that. But I love Simon. I love Daphne. I am so excited for the other books. Like, they love each other so much, and Simon is so nice to her, and he's so good to her. And I love Anthony. Cannot wait for book two. I already have it on Kindle Unlimited, ready to go. I love Anthony. Colin, I'm neutral about. I love Benedict. And then I feel like I'll end up loving the other siblings when they get older throughout the books. But as of right now, I'm an Anthony stan and I'm a Benedict stan. So I'm in my historical romance girly era. Thank you. I probably won't start watching the show until I finish book two. Get that kind of momentum going because I know I'm gonna want to binge all of it. So I'm need some book buffer.
My girl thinks I'm dead inside. 23, she's full of life. I'm holding her tight while she softly bites my neck. Baby dreams beyond me. She's tired of dating as I.
Okay. Hello. Coming at you live. 50% update. What the heck is happening? I made an assumption that this was gonna happen, but I really didn't think it was actually gonna happen. I thought I was joking. I thought I was thinking too much in my brain that this would actually happen, and it did. And at first I was like, oh, that's silly. That's so silly. And now I'm like, I went from this is silly and giggly, ha ha ha, how fun, to this is literally predatory. I think if I read this book a little bit younger, I would have been like, oh, that's so fun. And now I'm like, that's bad. That's predatory. That's bad. So this is the 50% update. I don't want to say anymore. I probably should like tell you what this is about. Whatever, but I'm gonna read some more and then I'll come back in the morning because it's like 11:30 at night. I'm gonna read some more and come back in the morning, dependent on where I am, or I might come at you at a full finish the book. But I had to stop and say, this is what it is, and I gotta go back to reading. Okay, bye. Okay, so here we are in my car, but you saw my little silly goofy update last night in bed, and here I am now. It's the morning, and I'm here to talk about it. I didn't get very much farther. I probably read 20 more pages. So if I had to guess, I'm probably like 60% now. But I need to do this update because I want to go inside and finish this book. Here's my thoughts. So, yeah, we're talking about The Teacher by Frida McFadden, obviously. But in this book, we follow Eve, who is a high school math teacher. And it's kind of her perspective is her relationship with her husband and how they have been married for like 8 years, and how that is like playing a part in her life and what they are kind of doing with that. And their relationship is pretty weird. Their relationship is giving me trauma based on my past, but like their relationship isn't as bad. There are themes that I'm like, I don't like that at all. So that. And then the other perspective we follow is Addie, and Addie is, I have the roof open a little bit so I can get airflow in here, and I have realized my coffee is directly below this, and then I am also directly below a tree. So I'm going to move my coffee out of the way. I'm going to get pollen in my coffee this morning. Thanks. So the next perspective we follow is Addie, and Addie is a high school junior, and she is in Eve's class. She's also, didn't mention this, in Nate's class, and Nate is Eve's husband. Eve teaches math, Nate teaches English. Addie is in both of their classes. But the year prior, Addie had this weird like relationship with one of the teachers, and I don't think it was like a sexual relationship. I think that like he like tutored her in math, and then like they like hung out too much, and then there was assumptions made. I don't know. Maybe we'll learn that. But Eve is standoffish to Addie. Addie is just trying to figure out her life. She's getting bullied by the like popular girl. But there's something going on with Addie. There's something going on with Addie, and it is giving uncomfortable. It is giving scary. It is giving bonkers. This whole book is giving ridiculousness. So here we are. I'm here to talk about some things. First things first is I finished The Teacher by Frida McFadden, and I'm here to talk about that little nightmare that is. So basically, at the 50% update, I think I said that it was good, but it was like kind of crazy. It got crazier. And it's so unhinged and so dumb, but I ate it up. So I don't want to talk too much about it. It would be a spoiler because it's a thriller, but just know that Addie is a child. Addie's a child, and the adults in this situation are freaking crazy. That's that on that. I actually do highly recommend this book. If you're not really into thrillers, I would try this one because I usually don't like thrillers. I don't like reading them with my eyes. Usually I listen to them, but this one I kind of ate up, and I definitely would read more Frida McFadden. I'm really interested in The Inmate. That's another one, obviously by her, but this one explores a lot of like teachers and teacher relationships and like just different things that I'm like, who is letting this happen? And also, I am hyper aware of literally everybody, and there are some characters that don't know that they are connected and don't know that they're like crossing each other's path. And I'm like, how do you not know them? How have you never seen this human before in your life? But maybe that's my brain where I like feel like I need to know everybody. I don't know. But I did end up giving this 5 stars. Is it a particularly amazingly written book? No. But did it hook me and did it give me 5-star feelings? Yes. Maybe 4.5. I think realistically, maybe a 4 if I wasn't so hyped in it. But I did give this 5 stars and I don't care. That's my opinion. So that what was that? First on YouTube. Thanks, Chandler. I think Chandler hated it. I loved it. Next, we have um, longest on TBR, and with that one, I don't know if I ever mentioned it, but I chose The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. That truly was the longest on my TBR. Oh no, I do think I said it. So I went with The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath, and I part of me wishes I went in and looked at other reviews before I sat down, but I'm gonna be full honest right now. I'm already done with it, and I hated it. The first like 65% of this book, I didn't get. I'm like, I knew this was about a girl being a sad girl, and I knew that this was about like suicide. Sorry, but it was like 60% of the book, and I was like, where's sad girl? This seems like normal girl stuff. And it is set in like the 60s, but still I'm like I don't get it. And then I was doing other things and listening, and then it started mentioning things and started mentioning things and mentioning sad girl things, and I was like, "Okay, I kind of get it now." But I didn't like it. I ended up giving it 2 stars. I don't have any other opinions on it. I don't have any other thoughts on it. I think that the main character was boring, and It was not worth my time. Do I think if I would have read it in like a class setting, like if I read it for school, would it have hit a little different? Probably, with like a discussion attached. But just reading it, just me, and then finishing it and then sitting down here, 2 stars. It was bad. I didn't get it. If you like classics, I would recommend it. If you don't like classics, don't even look at it. Don't look at it. Don't think about it. It's not worth it. So that. Wow. So those are the two books I had to read for this based on my roles. And then I did my choice already. Wow. I did it. What is it? A 4 star, two 5 stars, and a 2 star? We hitting. Okay. Let's outro this thing. So my last clip, I said, let's get the outro going. The outro's going now. So in this video, we read first on YouTube, we read The Teacher. Longest on shelf, we read The Bell Jar. My choice was The Duke and I, and the book that I bought was In Every Mirror She Is Black. So 2 5 stars and a 2 star. I think I made out like a bandit in this episode. So I had a great time. Definitely am going to do this again. Definitely, probably after I edit this and upload it, will I go in and work on my episode 2 of round 1 and do that and figure out what I'm going to read for that. Because I'm currently not reading anything, so I need to figure out what I'm going to read. But thanks, Bailey, for letting me do this. Thanks, everybody, for watching. And let me know in the comments if you have any opinions on the books that I read. And if not, leave me an apple emoji for the teacher, or a knife. An apple or a knife, or both. Thanks. So that's it. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, do whatever you need to do to help out my channel. And I will check you guys in my next video or in the next jokes video. Whatever comes first. So thank you so much, and I'll see you later. Bye.